Hey guys, how are you doing? VaulSC here. Before we start the infiNity game Bat Rip, I just want to say that I've been doing YouTube content for a decade, and just yesterday I hit 5,000 subscribers, which in YouTube standards is not a lot. A lot of people out there have hundreds and thousands of subscribers and millions of views, but I've always only ever done videos about the few things that I've been interested in, which has changed over time, but I still just want to say I really appreciate everybody who checks out my videos on a regular basis and subscribes and comments and generally supports me. Means a lot. By the way, I also stream sometimes on Twitch, so just type VaulSC into Twitch and check me out. You can hit me up with a follow, get some notifications if you want to come and hang out, and I welcome people coming in and just typing into Twitch chat to talk to me about whatever is on your mind. So, thank you. We're going to take a look at a game of infiNity between my Aleph, which I don't always crank out, but when I do, I really enjoy playing them, and against our new buddy with Jsa, who I've played a few times now, and just borrowing Garth's Battle Mat again for this particular game. Does work quite well with my terrain, I reckon. So we're going to have a bit of a match involving, which mission was this again? Supplies is the mission. Everybody's played Supplies. It's been around for a long time in the ITS pack over many seasons. So you can see objectives 1, 2, and 3. In fact, let's get out a pen color that's a bit easier to see. Go with some bright red. So 1, 2, 3 objectives in the middle. They are the tech coffins and the boxes. You break the supplies out of them and then run away with them. So I'm actually going with first turn for this one. Normally, if you're playing a faction like Nomads or Hakislam, the strategy is to throw smoke grenades onto the objectives to cover you, break them out, run away with them, and then clog your deployment zone up with jammers and mad traps and crazy koalas and hacking, and just stop your opponent from coming and grabbing the 2 boxes that you need to basically get a huge win. Having said that, there is some merit in going second if you feel confident enough that you can actually move out there and just shoot the people holding the boxes, or spec fire onto them, or find some way of killing them, since they can't be in marker state. So there is that as well. So we'll see how this game goes with that in mind. Okay, so let's have a look through my deployment here as Aleph. So there were 3 net rods. They were all trying to land in this location here, but 2 of them scattered, 1 in this direction and 1 over in this direction. God, I actually hate this color. We're going to change to something different. What am I going to use? How about green? There we go. My HVT still hasn't been deployed yet, of course. Bit is being the proxy for my diva in this game. I don't actually have a Aleph diva, but Bit looks the part. I've got a big Minesweeper bot here and another one at the back. Good 8-point order monkey, and then 2 flash pulse bots. Always take these in vanilla Aleph. You really need the extra orders. There's a Sophitek nearby as well. Cracker Renegade with Red Fury over here, rolling up the +1 armor bioimmunity. So that's what we can see from this angle. There's also my Naga Killer Hacker up next to the car, next to the objective, and Daz U-Fort Observer next to the central objective, ready to smash and grab. Okay, so deployment zone right at the back. We just talked about that Minesweeper bot there and the 2 flash pulse bots. We saw the diva over here. There's a Dakini HMG right next to the Sophitek. Very, very important. We're going to be deploying some proxy post-humans soon, and one of them is going to be my hacker. The Dakini with assisted fire is just nuts. Really, really good. It's a bit like a Q-drone in the active turn, except faster. But of course, the reactive turn doesn't have total reaction. There is a Cracker Renegade with double SMG picking up the climbing plus extra speed, one of my faves, and this Miranda Ashcroft is representing a basic Myrmidon with chain rifle, so that's how things are looking from my side. Okay, that's another photo just of the general left-hand zone of the deployment zone here. And of course that's the center. My opponent's grabbing his tape measure just so he can work out where he can put his mines, because he's not allowed to deploy a mine within range of any of my initial deployments here. So it's good that I'm deploying first in that sense. Very rarely take photos of my token setup. As you can see, they're old and made out of cardboard and ratty, but this is an order pool where I've got 10 and 6, all the command tokens intact, of course, starting the game. And just another closer view. I forgot to deploy my HVT, so we're just putting it up to the left here behind this big building on the left-hand flank. Okay, so let's talk about the Jsa deployment. This is from the extreme left-hand side of the Jsa deployment. You can, of course, see my Adazu in the middle there. So there's a Ryukin and its friendly mine over here. Then you've got the other Ryukin with, well, I call it a Raiden with missile launcher, rocket launcher, and its friendly mine over there. The Kiroshi Rider Lieutenant, Yojimbo, and his two crazy koalas on either side. And that's a doctor right here. There's the other Ryukin in the center of the table on a building prone with its mine right next to where my Dazu is. Technically, you can deploy the mine right on the other side of the objective because it's not really in the area of effect, but as soon as the Dazu picks up the objective and runs off with the box, it might get exploded on. That's a tip that I lent to my opponent for that particular phase of the game. Towards the center again, so we already saw where Yojimbo was and where everybody else was on this side, but the Kaisotsu Link team is going to be over here. So there's a couple of Kenpai. One of them has the marksmanship, not marksmanship, the, what do you call that thing, the Mark 12? Marksman rifle, rather. There's, of course, the HMG. So the HMG's here, the rocket missile launcher's here. Got a basic Kaisotsu there and a war core on top as well. So you'll get a bit of a closer view of that in a second. Here we go here. So we'll just run through it again. So Kenpai Tai, boarding shotgun, I believe. Kenpai Tai, marksman rifle, missile launcher, basic Kaisotsu, HMG over here, war core on the top. And that's one of Yojimbo's koalas. Here we go there. So I've already pointed out what's what. By the way, the Tokusatsu Doctor has a friendly helper bot right next to the missile launcher in case it suffers some damage. Bit of a close-up on Yojimbo as well, looking great with his new paint job. Really impressive stuff. And the Kiroshi Rider likewise looks really cool with that nice deep red going on the back line. All right, so my reserve model is a post-human, and because the post-human is actually 3 models in one, we're going to deploy them all. The absolutely beautiful heavy infantry guy with submachine gun and heavy rocket launcher, absolutely love that profile. Really, really powerful. This terrain piece is awkward, but we've agreed that he's actually base contact with this big silver thing. Post-human sniper in hidden deployment on the extreme left-hand flank with a huge diagonal through the table. It's going to be really powerful, and on the left-hand flank if something comes around there, and of course covering the 2 main objectives as well. So that post-human is going to be super powerful. And the third post-human, of course, I haven't taken a photo. It's my hacker. It's right next to my Diva Lieutenant. So first action of the game is impetuous from the Krakot. I saw that he'd be able to move towards the enemy line without coming into line of fire of the Kaisotsu missile launcher, but within line of fire of the war core. Worst case scenario, I get hit by a flash pulse, he ducks into cover, does nothing, that's fine, acceptable outcome. Best case scenario, I kill the war core for free, and that's luckily what happens. The SMG goes off, double SMG, war core doesn't roll the medium dice roll that he needs, and the submachine gun takes it out, so really good start. The other Krakot moving up the stairway closer to the Ryukin with his impetuous move, but not coming in line of sight, thankfully, so that's just good deployment there, just moving up the stairway. Then we can get on to the actual regular orders. So, a bit of a careful move happening here. I'm moving the Lamed Rebot, I think that's what they call it, the Pro bot, can't remember, it's the Flash Pulse bot, out to a spot here. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm about to use this Dakini HMG to move that away and get into line of sight of his Kaisotsu missile launcher. I just felt that if I do take a shot from the missile launcher, the splash template is actually going to clip this this little bot here. So I wanted to waste an order just getting him out of the way, if that makes sense. Here is the actual hacker, post-human hacker. It is prone behind this billboard here. So using the repeater provided by this little bot, I'm easily able to put assisted fire onto our beautiful Dakini right next to the Sofitect, of course, if something goes wrong. Dakini extremely careful here and moving out, slicing the pie onto this Kenpai type. So drawing a very thin angle along here and getting line of sight to the Kenpai. The Dakini is in optimal range, ignores cover with assist of fire, needs 14s to hit on 4 dice. The Kaisotsu ignores mimetism but is at long range and does not ignore cover. So with the link team bonus included, it's +3 and then -6 because of range and cover. So dice required fairly low. Dakini does very well and rips up the Kaisotsu, and of course with shock as well, so that Doctor's Helper bot's not really going to be of much use. Continuing around here, it's the missile launcher who's next on the chopping block, gets shot at by the Dakini, and this time the missile launcher actually luckily tanks both armor saves from the 2 hits that it receives and is able to go guts back behind the truck over to a spot around about there. So very lucky HMG Kaisotsu. Now, I don't actually own a Naga. In fact, I just received one in the mail today. A guy in Australia sent me this this Naga, which I'm assembling right now. So in the meantime, this Crocman is going to have to represent a Naga killer hacker. Because the arrows have been cleared out, moves to the objective here, presses the button to open the box, and gets the supplies. As it does so, as it moves away, my opponent decides to reveal this beautiful ninja, which he's just recently painted up, looks absolutely wonderful, to reply with a red rum to prevent me from getting away. Now, we did talk about the merit of this before he ultimately decided to pull the trigger and actually go for it. This generally is a mistake because the Naga is 1 willpower higher than the ninja, and it's the Aleph active turn, not the Jsa active turn. And because of that, the ninja doesn't get to apply any surprise attack. So the Naga is hitting on 14s or 2 dice, -3 for the red rum deficit, so 11s or 2 dice, and the ninja, for the same reason, is on 10, but with 1 dice. So you're talking 2 dice on 11s versus 1 dice on 10. If he wins, well, the specialist goes down, that's great. The Krakot comes around the corner, kills the ninja, somebody else picks up the box, and then runs away. So that's why that's quite bad. If I win, he's just throwing away a ninja, which wasn't hidden deployment. He's going to need a specialist for picking up boxes later on, and that's going to be his, his powerful play at the end of the game to run through and kill one of my guys. And now he just can't do that. So I think that's quite an awful mistake, really. Really not a good idea to just bring the ninja at that moment, because you gain so little from succeeding, you have a lower chance of succeeding, and you lose so much by failing this play. So it wasn't great. The Naga then able to move successfully over here. By the way, the dice rolls do go in the Naga's favor, and the ninja does indeed die, sadly. So the Naga comes all the way back behind these boxes here, goes prone with the beautiful token showing the supplies in the hot little hands of Aleph. So that's Group 2's 6 orders basically completed. Next up, the Krakot with Red Fury moving to the top of this building, attempting to discover and destroy the mine, which is represented by this little silhouette token here, so that I can move out. Does so indeed. The Dazyu Forward Observer appearing, placing mines of her own. I decided with only a few orders left in Group 1, it's not so urgent to try and grab the box and run for the hills. I think the better play would be to just put a lot of my own mines down here, go back into Tio Camo, and just save it until turn 2, because I think it's very unlikely that he's going to be moving through with his troopers, especially with the ninja having gone down, to pick up both of the boxes. I mean, I've got the post-human heavy rocket launcher in ARO duty, I've got the hidden Tio sniper, I'll have some mines down, I've got a bit of hacking, so I'm pretty confident I'll be able to defend this. So Dazyu goes, puts down 2 separate mines, indicated by these white markers, the camo tokens now, and then goes back into Tio Camo. You can actually see her here from Yujimbo's perspective. That's the Dazyu's location. We've got the mine down now. But of course, it's JSA turn 1, and Yujimbo, he be charging. He be moving with his bike, getting ready to throw some smoke grenades, bringing the koalas up. So smoke grenades going down, but of course he's going to actually have to expend some of his koalas detonating these mines, and of course it's going to be quite hard to get to the secondary one because the mine isn't really allowed to go off on my own model, so the best it can do is just squeeze past here. So really the mine is placed so as to only affect things that come around this side, whereas this mine here is placed so as to affect things coming from that angle, if you guys can picture that. Okay, Kuroshi Rider coming out with Lieutenant order, planning on going after this objective here because it's a specialist. But there's a left trap for that waiting, so there's a very thin line along this specific spot here where the post-human is going to come out of hidden deployment and whack him. So there he goes with his second short skill, moves directly out into the open. The trap is sprung. Enemy does not get an ARO because he's using the second short skill. Post-human sniper hits him with a nasty round from the sniper rifle, and although Kuroshi could go, I believe it is Dogged or NWI, decides to go unconscious so that the doctor can come to its safety. So Yojimbo now called in, moving the koala in range of the mine to detonate it, and in the meantime using his smoke grenades to fire further over to block the path of the post-human sniper so that he can now activate his doctor. So doctor, starting from this location, walking over here, doesn't have many orders really, but going over to the aid of the Kuroshi Rider, who has been rendered unconscious by the sniper over in the far corner, and of course there's a big smoke grenade down here thanks to Yojimbo, so the doctor's able to successfully revive the Kuroshi Rider lieutenant, thankfully. But stranded out in the open though. Kaisotsu HMG considering a shot against the net rod, but I took this photo as he was deciding what to do. I don't believe he actually went for it in the end, decided to use his orders elsewhere. So there's the shot of the net rod. Okay, so he has Saito Togan in hidden deployment at a very similar position where the ninja was. So the ninja was actually here, now dead. Decided to put all eggs in one basket, put Saito Togan right next to him, and he's moving through to this spot here where he can actually take on the post-human sniper. Now this is really brave. Saito only has a combi rifle. He's up against Tio Camo. The post-human has NWI, so after it takes a hit, should be able to, you know, duck back behind some more crates to get more cover. And Saito's not even assured of actually getting any hits off at all, because the post-human could just dodge or even fire back with his sniper rifle. So not wonderful, but Saito goes for it anyway, whipping out the combi rifle, firing at the post-human, and actually being lucky enough to get a hit on him and forcing him back. In fact, my recollection of the game is a little bit hazy. I believe he ended up going for it for another attempt and actually destroyed the post-human sniper with Saito Togan after a couple of hits got through. So, well done to Saito and the JSA here, but that was a very risky play. Speaking of risky plays, revealing the Ryukin with heavy rocket launcher, very thin line of sight through this part of the battlefield to my spot here where I've got my own post-human with heavy rocket launcher, and he's doing this because the blast marker from the template will clip a net rod and a minesweeper bot. So if he just gets a hit, then that's two other models which are going to be engulfed in flames. So the problem though is that he's -3 for long range, cancelled by the X-Visor. There's a little forested planter he's got to go through, that's another -3, and cover. So he's hitting on like a 6 or a 7. And the post-human just dodging. So the result of that, of course, is that the post-human is actually hit because the Ryukin gets lucky. The net rod is destroyed by fire, same with the minesweeper bot, but the post-human tanks the hit. So there you have it. Post-human lives, but he's destroyed a couple of orders which belong to the Aleph pool here. And also getting the Ryukin leader out of trouble now that it's been revived, just spending an order getting it back to safety. After, of course, picking up the box, don't get me wrong, he's going in there, running in, passing the whip check, and then zooming out with a super bike speed. Zooming away with the supplies and is out of there. So, sorry, I got the sequence of this wrong. Saito Togan is basically forced the post-human back into cover, and then after the Kuroshi Rider has done its thing, firing at the post-human sniper and killing it. So there you have it. And then later on, moving the Ryukin just a little bit further away from the doctor because he's worried that I'll fire at the doctor with my post-human heavy rocket launcher and clip them both with a heavy rocket launcher blast radius, which should now be somewhere around here. So he's at least out of danger there. We've got Yojimbo trying to pick off the net rod with his combi rifle, I believe, and then going prone behind the building. and we've also got a bit of a reshuffle here from the Kaisotsus, I think. And then it is Aleph turn 2. So because this Krakot fortunately rolled up Climbing Plus, he started around about here, uses Climbing Plus to come up and over the objective, the building with his impetuous move, does not bring him into line of sight of anybody, and then he's going to be able to move down the stairs into close combat with Saito, where he'll be able to trade with him using Berserk. So that'll be the first point of order. Also, Dakini TACbot with HMG assisted fire, moving out now, getting into line of sight of the enemy missile launcher, I think, at this point, to clear some people out. And then, of course, just moving carefully to a point here with the Krakot where he has the corner of a silhouette, can see Saito. Saito must dodge, otherwise he's going to get hit by 2 chest mines. So the SMG goes into him, fails to kill him, and then with the next order after that, the Krakot coming down the stairway, berserking into close combat. Saito swings back. It's the only thing he could do, just trying to tank the hits, and the Krakot unloads at him. So predictably, both of these models destroyed. Speaking of Krakots, the Red Fury Krakot now moving out, trying to rake old Yojimbo here with his Red Fury. Would love to connect those hits, because then he doesn't have a super fast unit to get into my back line. This does provoke a shot from the Ryukin with heavy rocket launcher, and sadly, Krakot performs poorly here. Yojimbo defends himself with some smoke, Krakot misses shots, and the heavy rocket launcher destroys him. So not great for that Krakot. We are down both Krakots now after this little round, and there's smoke in the middle of the table too. Okay, also we'd used our flashball spot here to move forward and detonate his Crazy Koala so that the Dazu can move in and grab the objective. So that's what's happening here in this image. You've got the flashball spot here, the Crazy Koala. This is a smoke template now, where that little red marker is. So going through on the other side of the smoke, the Crazy Koala goes off, renders the flashball bot unconscious because he can't dodge it. So then the Dazu moving out, going straight for the objective, boop, on the button, picking up the supplies, and getting the hell out of there. So she runs for it like hell, and runs all the way back around, and setting up another mine next to her location. So we have, if I just move my face, the Naga over here, prone behind some boxes with one objective. The Dazu prone behind, well, not even prone, just at the back of this building here, protected by the Myrmidon chain rifle on one side, friendly mine on the other side. So this is only turn 2. Just have to deal with 2 more JSA turns to try and fend them off, and hopefully we can succeed with that if we tighten up the defense a bit more. Okay, so, actually, the Krakot, I think, lived through that previous attack. It's just the dodge thwarted him. Then he moves over here, fires at, I think, the Doctor, and then gets shot by the rocket launcher. So I had that wrong, guys. Sorry about that sequence. Okay, so with that done for Aleph, it's going to be JSA turn 2, and Yojimbo now moving around the other side of the building and heading over this direction here. He's having to have a careful think about this, because he wants to maybe pick off net rods and things, but he doesn't want to get shot at by the post-human heavy rocket launcher, heavy infantry in that direction, so he's going to be having to put down smoke grenades generally in this vicinity. So Yojimbo carefully lining up some smokes to achieve that. Note that there's a mine right there, but his silhouette's quite low. The mine is very low as well, and there's a car in the way, so can't get vision to him. The Kuroshi Rider also up to speed, moving back around towards the middle of the table, just jockeying for some better positions. Ryukins also, the Ryukin basically has hot swapped it, so the Kuroshi Rider handing over the supplies to the Ryukin, which is what you see here. That little yellow token represents the supplies. My opponent attempting to shoot at my post-human hacker, and I was like, what? How are you doing that? But he didn't realize that I was prone, so I'd taken a photo while we were debating that. But this post-human, don't get me wrong, he is safe. So the Ryukin now just warily avoiding this mine here, just trying to get to a better spot, standing up in the building and maybe trying to pick off a couple of remaining net rods out there. And then Yojimbo able to move through the cover of a smoke to get around to the other side of the table, threatening to move in and actually attack my Naga who's holding the objective. So here you are here, just moving out around the side. He's going to decide to just leave him there in the end. But there you go. We've also got a flash pole spot way out back as well, who I believe got a free shot against the Ryukin at the top there, possibly blinding her, can't quite recall. Kuroshi Rider also repositioning, so we've got some people in suppression fire, including the Ryukin, and the Kuroshi Rider possibly in suppression fire as well. There we go, behind the building. Yep, in suppression fire. Very nice. This image will show the post-human heavy rocket launcher bottom left, I believe, ducking out of the way because she got shot at by something or other. So just ducking out of the way against, I believe it was the Ryukin heavy rocket launcher. So just staying behind this total cover here with 2 wounds intact. Actually, no, takes a wound from something or other. Maybe it was a rocket, or maybe it was from a SMG. Either way, it does take a wound, but is alive. Okay, so here we are. Yojimbo's right around the corner. I could shoot at him with my Naga, and that would allow me to possibly kill Yojimbo, and if I die, I could pick up the supplies with something else. So having a go at that, but unfortunately, smoke grenades going down. So what we're doing here is we're coming up with a crafty plan. The Dazyu moving up the stairs, because prone on the stairs is going to be really safe. There's a Sophitek there to protect. Unfortunately, Flash Ball Spot has gone down, but the Dazyu should be okay. Dazyu is very resilient anyway. TO Camo, NWI, there's a mine on the staircase, should be alright. So Myrmidon moving out, and the plan is to move the Myrmidon around here to get in the way of Yojimbo. The heavy rocket launcher moving into a position. This is my last turn, so it doesn't matter about saving orders for next turn. It's about blocking things with annoying arrows. So the Diva Lieutenant standing up the Lieutenant's order. The Hacker also going to be standing up. The heavy rocket launcher covering this long line. And I just want to put a lot of annoying bodies in the way of him coming over to my side of the table and picking up the supplies off me. Because Yojimbo responded to the Naga with a smoke grenade, he is now not visible. I don't want to attack him in close combat, of course, because he's better than I am. But with the Myrmidon moving over to this specific spot here, note that, in fact, it goes a little bit further to about this spot. Note that Yojimbo can't just walk past him. So I'm already blocking the Impetuous Order from getting straight over to where the supplies are. He'll have to go into close combat with the Myrmidon to even get past me or shoot at me. As soon as he comes around this location here, he'll get shot at by the Naga. In fact, no, the Naga may be walking away. He'll get chain rifled by the Myrmidon or attacked in close combat or pistoled. There'll be a flash pulse from somewhere, I believe, maybe another couple of combi rifle shots. But the important thing is that Yojimbo just can't ignore everybody and move past and throw smoke. And he's also got to get through the Myrmidon. And the Myrmidon might even beat Yojimbo in close combat, because the point difference, they've both got MO3, the point difference is about 3. So if Yojimbo rolls, say, an 8 and the Myrmidon rolls a 12, well, Yojimbo gets struck with a close combat weapon there. So it's not wonderful for him, as we'll see from future photos. So everybody else setting up, you've got the proxy. Both proxies here, getting ready. The Diva on the rooftop, Lieutenant getting ready. The Dazyu's prone. The Minesweeper bot's really just getting in the way, not really going to provide much. And there you are. So also importantly, the Naga giving up his position here, moving to the back here and going prone behind this little ute. And that should hopefully keep him safe until the end of the game, and places a mine here as well, because that's going to detonate on Yojimbo as he comes around the corner. So I feel like the defense is watertight. My opponent revealed to me that he'd forgotten that he'd completed experimental drug, because he's looking at the table going, well, how can I win? Well, here's how he can win. I haven't completed any classifieds. He completed experimental drug back when his doctor revived his Kuroshi Rider. So all he has to do really is just shoot one of the models holding supplies on my side. That'll give me one left, him one left, and the tiebreaker is the classified. So that is one potential way to win. Yojimbo, after a lot of theory mongering here and talking, we decided to put Yojimbo in there, because if he dies, then we'll have to find some other way to win. There's no other way to do it, because if he gets activated at all, everything goes off. So, moves into close combat. If I chain rifle, he just dodges. So I decided to make the swing with the Myrmidon, because if your Jimbo dodges, the swing from the Myrmidon is very likely to win that. And I've got a chain rifle, sorry, not a chain rifle, a mine going off on him anyway. So Yojimbo takes a mine. There's a Dakini tac bot standing up, which HMGs him. This model over here, the post-human, shoots at him as well with the combi rifle. The Naga's behind the building, and the Myrmidon goes for the swing. So Yojimbo's in a lot of trouble. By the way, there's a Sophitect as well, combi rifling him as well. So Yojimbo taking a lot of flack here. It's unlikely that he'll perform this, and unfortunately for Yojimbo, he clears the mine, but the Myrmidon actually wins the close combat, unbelievably. So he takes a hit from that and a whole bunch of combi rifles and bites the dust. So at least I've fended off one potential prong. I just want to point out that if Yojimbo wins the close combat against the Myrmidon and actually kills her, and then tanks the armor save against the mine, and the combi rifles miss, and maybe one of the shots hits somebody, he goes into NWI. Well, the next order means the Myrmidon's cleared, he can drive over here, throw smoke, and then order after that comes and just kills this Crocman and he wins. So attempting this in terms of risk versus reward is worth it, because if he does get lucky, that's just game winning right there. There's a bit of a close-up on Yojimbo, unfortunately getting whacked by the Myrmidon. Okay, so it's all down to the Kuroshi Rider, and after explaining to my opponent that he actually still has a decent shot at winning, as long as this guy can win some combi rifle trade-offs, we're going to go for it. So he's just getting around to a position where he can fire at the Diva on the building, and exchanging some combi rifle shots with her until she's dead. He's got a lot of orders to do this with, by the way. There's a Ryukin over here which can attempt to fire at the Diva as well, but getting shot back at by a Dakini tac bot and a range of other things, the Ryukin is, I believe, destroyed. Next up, I'm attempting to alert with the Sophitect over here, but that fails to bring the post-human around. I really want to start shooting back with the post-human's SMG, because that would remove the Kuroshi from the table, but unfortunately for him, Kuroshi sneaking up round back, even though the bike makes a very loud noise, the post-human hasn't turned around yet, and the Kuroshi Rider is still going strong, managing to win these shootouts. Eventually, after a lot of, blat, blat, blat with the combi rifle, the Sophitect also laid low, because it's 3 dice versus 1, and the Sophitect, although it gets back behind cover, takes a wound, goes into NWI, the combi rifle does rip through the Sophitect as well. So, Kuroshi Rider at last coming back around the post-human to destroy him with its combi rifle, and the post-human unfortunately not tanking this despite his armor 5, and that will allow the Kuroshi Rider to finally move back through to the back of the table and fire its combi rifle at the unsuspecting Naga from the back, way at the back of the table edge. And all it really needs to do is roll low. The combi rifle against the camo in the long range, it's just -6 on 3 dice. Just has to get a single hit through onto the Naga, and that's victory right there. So that got me rather worried and rather annoyed that I hadn't managed to get the combis off. Before this actually happened, mind you, I've taken the photos in the wrong order by the looks. The Kuroshi Rider decides to move around here into close combat with the post-human and scythe him down. Not something you get to do all the time with the Kuroshi, but this does succeed. Beautiful photo here, and the Kuroshi Rider now moves through, gets to a point where it's not long range, so not -6, but just -3 against the Naga in the back line, fires the combi rifle. Everybody holds their breath. This is a shot for free because I haven't managed to win the alert roll and the change facing has failed. So had it passed, the Naga would be able to dodge, giving me much better odds at surviving. So firing the combi rifle, 1 shot hits, 2 shots miss. It's all he needs to kill the Naga. The dice roll is made, +1 for armor. It comes up as a 13, and the Naga has 1 armor, so it's effectively a 14, which is higher than the damage of the combi rifle, and the Naga lives. And this was the last order of the JSA turn. So, Aleph, victorious. 2 supply crates to 1, and 1 classified to JSA. I believe that is a 5-2 victory for Aleph, but dang, that was close. What a game, though. So, in terms of decisions, I felt like the only really bad move was the ninja revealing. everything else, you know, I also gave my opponent a lot of tips through this, like, here's what you could do, here's what you should avoid doing, do you want to take that move back? So there was a lot of that, as there always is, which is a lot of fun. I quite enjoy that way of playing. In terms of luck, I don't believe I was super unlucky earlier on with the Dakini. I mean, the Dakini was expected to rip things up. He was a bit lucky to survive with the missile launcher initially, but that didn't really matter too much. Yeah, I mean, luck generally went fairly averagely. I mean, that Kuroshi rider, it got revived after being sniped by the post-human sniper. He could easily have just lost it completely against the double action round, and in that case, we wouldn't have had such a close game. Also, Saito Togan did quite well to kill the post-human sniper, so there were a couple of points where actually I got a little bit unlucky. My opponent got a little bit unlucky at the end to not kill the post-human there, but I mean, to be honest, he'd done really well to get through several arrow combo rifles as it was, so he could easily have just got a little bit unlucky with any one of those and basically failed to get through to the end. I hope you guys enjoyed this game. It was a really good cracker of a game and close ending. So, as always, thanks for checking out the Bat Rep, and we'll have more for you very soon.